Hello, my name is Austin Moore, a senior political science major from Denton, North Carolina. In the fall of 2020, I set out to complete the Silver Leadership Challenge with the help of my coach, Kelly Thomas, to expand my leadership capabilities. Along the way, I discovered things about myself and my community I did not expect. For me, this was more than a challenge. This was a silver leadership journey. Working with Kelly has been a true blessing. Kelly has been a mentor to me for over a year and a half and has been instrumental in all aspects of my success as a student leader. A committed and dedicated leader in her own right, Kelly serves as a coordinator for Residence Life at More Strong and is a founder and developer at First G at the G, a student organization dedicated to helping first-generation college students like myself find their way. With Kelly's strong emphasis on student success, I knew she would be the perfect coach through my journey. In our first meeting, Kelly helped me establish the goals that would help intentionalize why I'm here and what I am doing. The goals we decided on were securing a 3.33 term GPA, be more active, and prioritize my health, and decide what my future would look like post-undergraduate. To know what motivates me, it would be helpful to know more about who I am. As I mentioned earlier, I'm from Denton, North Carolina. Denton is a rural town south of Lexington, which is mostly disconnected. There's not a lot of opportunity here, so many people seek out other towns for work and leisure. For me, I struggled to find a connection to Denton. There were not too many avenues to get deeply connected to the community besides athletics, which were not too interesting to me. I would not feel the warmth and love of a community until I arrived at UNC Greensboro. Here I discovered the importance of a strong-knit community and the true strengths it would hold. So when I look at what motivates me personally, I discovered that community was a tremendous driver and, to further that point, making an impact. When I first came to UNC Greensboro, I wondered how I could touch a campus and community like the Spartans. Another factor which greatly motivates me is how to expand my ability to be an effective leader. The Silver Leadership Challenge gave me a pretty good excuse to take on volunteer role during the pandemic. Prior to the Silver Challenge, I had never volunteered for a specific organization or group on a recurring basis. Much of my volunteer experience prior to this was simply one-off opportunities. So when I sought out a specific group, I wanted something which would be reliable and have a realistic opportunity of making an impact. This is where I found the Glenwood Urban Farm in the Glenwood community here in Greensboro. The Glenwood Urban Farm is a small backyard garden that works to funnel fresh-grown vegetables to the Glenwood community. It gets its name from the farm-like vibes from the goats, chickens, and family dog named Jack. You quickly fall in love with the community that has grown over the many months of development and genuine hope to help others. What I appreciate a lot about the urban farm was the creative leadership and finding ways to stretch the dollar or organize beds to be most effective for yield. They also have a high appreciation for community and are located in a very ideal location to receive volunteers from UNC Greensboro. Yet there were many weaknesses, many of which were centered around COVID-19. I also noticed that there were not clear means of getting funding, and the garden was not necessarily the largest to take on many different crops. However, what is still so attractive about the urban farm is the scrappy nature of the farm, and how even when it is not easy, things still get done and veggies are grown. I believe once COVID has moved into the peripheral of our sites, the Glenwood Urban Farm will be poised to do big and powerful things for its community and offer a unique experience for volunteers. I am not one to stop and reflect very often, yet the Silver Leadership journey allowed me a point to stop and think about what I have done and how far I have come in 2020-2021 through my leadership journey. I have not mentioned yet my active affiliation being the Student Government Association, where I serve as the student body president. I have been privileged to have served in this role and pushed to make my impact on UNC Greensboro. Through this experience, I have discovered an extra emphasis I need to have is to be intentional with all goals and initiatives. I can reflect highly on this aspect from when I first became student body president with my rushed and hastily developed goals versus developing a strategic plan to advocate for more inclusion at UNC Greensboro. The work I do now versus the work when I started is night and day. A lot of this development and strategic planning was learned and discovered through the numerous professional development sessions I attended during the Silver Leadership Challenge. Specifically, I believe the Board of Trustees organizational development session I was able to attend was especially helpful as it provided insight on how to develop a strategic plan, find priorities, and how all of this ties into a university's mission. I'm so grateful to have attended this session and learned so much in the process. I also have to work to develop balance with things that I want to do and the priorities I must set. I have many different ambitious interests and want to do so many different things. Yet I have to pause and ensure what I am doing now will meet the priorities I have set. Also, along this leadership journey, I have recognized I wanted to continue my education and I want to pursue a master's degree in higher education to better prepare myself for higher education policy. I have been working to build relationships with various people to build mentorship and help me be successful in the future. Lastly, I have grown to avoid making excuses for myself. While I am not perfect in this aspect, I have made a consistent effort to take responsibility when I have done something wrong and hold myself accountable in order to make it right. So what is next after my silver leadership journey? That is a great question I do not exactly have the answer to right now, but I believe I have a general idea and hopes for what is next. First, I want to pursue graduate school. I am waiting to hear back on acceptance, but if all things go well, I should be studying higher education policy next fall. Along with this, I want to find ways to become more entrenched in the community where I attend graduate school. Similar to UNC Greensboro, getting invested in this community has been transformational. Lastly, I strive to be bolder and more outspoken among my peers. I have a unique lens from my life experiences which I can use to help others discover themselves, but also advocate for those who do not have the same fortune to do so. This is very important to me, and I would be honored to continue this in my future career. I would like to give one final thank you to my fantastic coach Kelly. Having your help through all of this has truly been incredible, and I'm so grateful for the experience. So that is how this experience has been more than a challenge. Thank you for taking the time to hear my journey and my growth through the Silver Leadership Challenge.